folks, Rob here, and this is going to be kind of a two-part video. First and foremost, I had a commenter, somebody left a comment, and wanted to know how much the trigger pull was on this Charles Daly shotgun. I guess in the video I'd mentioned it had a pretty heavy trigger pull. This one is not as bad as the one that I sent off to be replaced. So I thought, well, we'll check the trigger pull on this, and we'll take another look at the Pridefend trigger pull gauge. This was sent over to us by Pridefend and to review. And the first time I used it, I really didn't understand it that well, so I went back and I read the directions. I guess, you know, in all things there's some technique to it. And I actually brought it out here today, and I was testing it against my Wheeler spring gauge. And there was a pretty good difference between the spring gauge and what this was showing. And so I got really curious, and I put some batteries in my scale here. And honestly, I weighed my cobalt drill that I have over there. And I set it on there. It was 4.7 something pounds. And then I would turn this up like this and set it down and hold it and just set the drill on the pressure switch as best as I could. You know, I had to kind of balance a little bit, so I knew it wasn't going to be exactly, but it was. Most of the times I got 4.7 to, you know, within an ounce or two either way. This one, I hung the drill from it, and it's almost a pound heavier than what these two say. So this one was 5 pounds, about, I think, 8 ounces. So, you know, I did check the accuracy of it against some known weights. I checked them on this. I checked this little battery bank here. I hung it from I weighed it on this, and then I hung it from the trigger gauge. So I feel like this is accurate. If you use it right. Now, in all things, there's a technique to it, and I played with the Wheeler too, and you can cause the same issue with the Wheeler. So I'm going to demonstrate kind of the technique to use for this particular one. You know, it's best to put your finger on here, and I've been just kind of holding the gauge and pushing down with my finger, and I'll show you that you can make it completely. And this gun is unloaded. And this is my Charles Daly 410 shotgun. Now, I can make this read inaccurately. I can put my finger in there. And let's see, we got it on average, yeah. So I can put my finger in there, and I can push it really fast. 2 pounds, 3.5 ounces. We know that is not right. By no means is that right. But it done it. Now, if I use it correctly and put my finger on it and take it and push down on the trigger, we got 8 pounds. Okay, so we hit our enter button, 8 pounds. That's pull number 1. I'll put my finger in there again, start pushing, 8.13. So enter. We'll break it down again. And if you do this correctly, this gauge is accurate. 7.68. And let's enter that one. And 8.29. And 7.14. So we have an average of 8 pounds, 1.3 ounces on this gun, which is just about right. And the Wheeler spring gauge goes up to 8 pounds, and it would not trigger. It wouldn't kick this at 8 pounds. It would go on past, and it would go past far enough that it looked to me to be, if you take this amount of distance here that it takes to read, it come by about that much further. So I'm guessing it was reading somewhere close to the 9 pound range. So, but I did check the gauge out, And so for the person that wanted to know, the average pull on this is 8 pounds, 1.3 ounces. So you got an 8-pound trigger on the Charles Daly 101 410 turkey model. And it's yeah, it's heavy, but you know, it's not ungodly bad. It's see if we can get you a picture of it there. You know, you got some take up. Well, actually, you don't have any take up. It's just, did I break it down? It just breaks. There's no creep. There's no, it's just pressure. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you've seen it. It just breaks. So it is an 8-pound trigger, but it's not a bad 8-pound trigger, if there is such a thing. For a hunting gun, for somebody, you know, when you're hunting and you see game, you don't think about trigger pull weights. You don't think about. I have been hunting and shot a deer before and couldn't even remember pulling the trigger on the gun. Don't remember the recoil. Don't remember the sound. You know, your body reacts to all that, and you don't really get all that stuff. So anyway, the Pridefend gauge, excellent little gauge. I think it's like $20 or something like that. It's not really expensive. It's about half of what you pay for anything else. You know, I did check it with some items that I weighed on the scale, and you know, it was always within an ounce or two. So, or not an ounce or two, but a few tenths of an ounce of being right. So anyway, guys, hope this answers the question on the shotgun. And the Pridefend trigger gauge works correctly when you use it correctly. Now, I have used it too, where you can, this is a different technique, but it's not the way the manufacturer recommends, but you can hold it like this in your hand, and you can put it in there, and you can pull the trigger with the gauge, 8.9 pounds. So you can use it that way too. The recommendation is to, you know, to put your finger on the top of it, but I think a lot of them recommend that. So let's see how close we are again. 7 point, I slid off the trigger, I pushed sideways. So let's delete that one. That one I slid off. And 7 pound 14. So let's do one more, and then I'll call this video quits. It's got an 8-pound trigger, 7 pound 15 ounces. So 8.23 ounces, about the same as we got the last time, within an ounce. So anyway, guys, appreciate you watching, and until the next video, we'll see you guys later.